Welcome, everybody. Super exciting day for us to introduce Jalen and Maxwell. Really, it's a culmination of a lot of work by our scouting staff and by our front office to identify the top talent in the draft. We went into the draft with the 17th and 47th pick and came out of it with two players that we had, ranked high in our first round. As we continue just to add to the core of young players that we have here in the Lakers building, just couldn't be more proud to introduce these two gentlemen, to welcome their families, their coaches, their agents into our building as well, and let you, more importantly than anything, get to know them as the newest Laker faces. So we'll introduce Jalen and Maxwell to you guys today and be open for any questions.
What have been those initial conversations, or maybe if brief, just about what you each kind of hope to bring starting your rookie year?
Pretty much just welcoming. Obviously, just getting drafted, kind of meeting everyone, getting acclimated to everything. So obviously the next step is summer league, so just getting ready for that and focusing on that right now.
Yeah, just to piggyback off him, just introduction. A lot of new faces. I'm trying to remember everyone's name right now, so just going through that, and yeah.
Yeah, Jim Hill at KKL9. I'd like to ask both of you to talk about your initial reaction when you found out you were going to be with this historic franchise.
So just being there that night, just remember just the Lakers and my name was just really surreal. My pops is from Inglewood, California, and I just have so many family that's from Las Vegas that's Lakers fans. So and the history, Kobe, just so much about the Lakers, just surreal. And it's a blessing just to be on this team.
So for me, like my demeanor, I'm pretty laid back and chill. So going to draft day, I was like a roller coaster. Like obviously you don't know where you're going and everything, but I remember sitting at the table and then obviously getting the call. The first thing I thought of was Kobe, because growing up I was a big Kobe fan. So I was just like, this can't be real right now. Like I didn't really have no emotions. I feel like I couldn't cry, I couldn't really talk, I didn't really hear nothing. I was just like, dang, I'm really about to be a Laker. So it was just kind of like a surreal feeling, and I was just really, really thankful.
I'll just add a little bit to that too. Drafting high character kids that the Lakers mean so much to is part of what we do. And Coach and I got on the phone with Max, and I just think he was so caught up in the emotion he really didn't have words. I think Coach and I were like, wow, man, this is a deep moment for him. And again, just players that care that much about playing for this franchise is big to us. And sitting upstairs with Jalen and Darvin and Jesse, and just hearing him talk about his journey and how when he was a young boy, he identified the Mamba mentality just as one of the pillars in his life in terms of how he wanted to carry himself and how he wanted to approach the game. And it's easy to throw that out in a draft interview, but you could tell with him it was incredibly genuine. And just the way he carries himself, the way he approaches the game, that was meaningful to us.
Hey guys, Dan Wyke with the LA Times. I'm curious, what was the feedback that you guys got in the process in terms of meeting with this organization, and what traits do you think that they liked best in you that you hope to show them starting in Summer League?
You can go first.
I think Rob pretty much said it. I think whenever I met with them, I think just my personality, the way I was genuine, just the way I acted, I think that caught attraction. And then obviously, they watch film, they see you playing, things like that. So I think just my character and the way I work, a guy who's going to bring it every day, high character kid. I want to learn, a sponge. So I think really just my work ethic and my habits.
For me, I'll just say I feel like just my size and just how I just do the little things and just how I can shoot the ball. I feel like, just how I shoot the ball and just my work ethic as well, just always being in the gym, in and out. you know, at Pepperdine, it was a little tough to get in the gym, but I always figured it out, and I was always in the gym, and I feel like they noticed that. Word around town, they knew that I was in the gym, hearing it from sources at Pepperdine, and yeah.
Hey guys, Alan Slewa, ESPN LA. Just curious how much you guys followed the Lakers last year in that run to the Western Conference Finals, and how excited are you guys to be a part of a team that's competing for a championship?
Yeah, I'll go first. Just playing with LeBron James. Literally, all my friends, like, that's all they talk about me being on the team is LeBron. Like, you're playing with LeBron. Like, it's just, like I said, surreal, playing with just those big-time veterans that can coach me and make me a better player, and just getting so much feedback and just watching what they do everything they do, and just learn from them.
Yeah, I mean, Max pretty much said it on the head, but I think being a 20-year-old kid getting drafted to the Lakers, obviously an organization that's had plenty of success over the years and organization that's on pace to win another championship, I think it's kind of like a dream for a kid. So I think just getting in, learning from everyone here, even like you said, LeBron, one of the best players ever, and the rest of the guys, I think that will only help us and, push us to, be great.
Hey guys, Dave McBenman with ESPN. This Lakers organization is all about winning. They came pretty darn close to the finals last year. You guys, for your careers in high school, college, been asked to win a certain way, carrying a huge role. Most likely you don't have that same role next year. So what have you guys learned, each of you, about winning that you can bring to next year's group to try to, have the common goal together?
Yeah, I mean, coming in as a rookie, obviously you're starting from the bottom, so you obviously got to find your niche and find, what you need to do to help the team win. So whatever that is, whether that's, being vocal, being an assist guy, playing defense, whatever it is, I think I'm going to go in there with the approach that I want to help the team win and get better every single day.
Yeah, with me, I'll just say just keeping the main thing, just staying in the gym, and just figuring out my role and what I can do to help the team win another championship. So.
Hey, Darvin, good to see you. In lieu of what they were just talking about their approach, what are the things that you're going to be evaluating that will determine your comfort level with giving them minutes, knowing that obviously the roster is still fluid?
Well, as I said from day one, like a little over a year here last year, it's the three things that we look for, and that's the competitiveness, togetherness, and accountability. And I think these are two great young men, highly competitive, known to work well with their teammates, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of buy-in from them immediately. And then holding yourself accountable, doing everything you can to put yourself in the best possible position to be successful. And with these young guys, it's learning how to be pros first and foremost, learning how you got to change your nutrition, your sleeping habits, constantly work on your body and work on your game. And also, not just randomly working on different things, but things that are going to translate to the group, things that are going to allow the group to be successful. So we have all the faith in the world in these two, that they're going to fall right into place with what we got going on. And as a young player, the harder you play, the harder you compete, particularly on the defensive end. Usually those guys are the ones that get the minutes early, and the offense will catch up to what they're doing. But first, they have to establish a competitive tone and obviously buy in and know what we're doing defensively, and that's going to translate into everything else.
Hey guys, Kirk Sandoval from KBC. Jalen, I want to ask you specifically, when LeBron James was drafted by Cleveland, there was a story that you were like 7 days old. How do you put that into perspective, that you'll be playing with him and learning, as Coach said, some of those life skills?
Yeah, I did see that post on ESPN, and I was like, dang, LeBron old. Nah, but I mean, it's crazy to think about. Obviously, he's one of the greatest players ever played the game. He's been in the league for going on 21 years now. So just his knowledge of the game and what he can bring to the table for me, and as well as Max and other guys, I think it's going to be good and really beneficial to us.
Hey guys, Yovan Buha with The Athletic over here. To follow up on Darvin's point about the defense, the Lakers were the #1 defense after the trade deadline. That was kind of the way they made their playoff run. How do each of you kind of figure into that identity, and how do you guys see yourselves defensively right now?
I mean, like Coach said, I think for young guys, it's coming in, being competitive, obviously learning, being a sponge, watching a lot of film, asking questions. And I think the more you play and, be around your teammates, that's the better you get at doing it. So I think just learning on the fly, really, yeah, that's the main thing.
Right, yeah. To piggyback off what he said, yeah, just doing the little things and just taking defense seriously. You gotta play defense. I'm pretty sure his motto is if you want to be on the floor, you gotta play defense first. So just making sure you do that before anything else.
Kobe Price, Southern California News Group. This is for Maxwell and Jalen. Just for you guys, is there maybe a different approach to your rookie seasons, knowing that you're joining a team that had the success they did last year compared to if you were drafted by a team maybe lower in the standings or didn't have the same success?
Not really. I think I'm still going to work. Even if I was on the worst team, it doesn't really matter to me, just still going to work.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much always the same approach. You got to go in there and work. And like I said, we're rookies now, the young guys, so you got to start from the bottom and do whatever the team needs for you to win.
Hi, guys. Brad Turner from the LA Times. This is for Darvin and Rob. Knowing that these guys play for coaches, and Jalen's case, played for Mike Woodson, played for Lorenzo, how does that help them in this process of getting to the NBA team? And Darvin, is it true that Woody used to whoop your butt when he was coaching you?
I'll speak to the whooping butt part about the coach.
We Lorenzo Romar, I remember when I played at Michigan, he was on a traveling team and gave us 40. So much respect for his game and his story. But I think one of the things we do throughout the scouting process is we also have intel and talk to head coaches at colleges. And when you talk about Lorenzo Romar or Mike Woodson, just guys that carry such respect for the way they played. Obviously, Woody's coached in the NBA and now at Indiana University. So a big part of our evaluation. And I remember we were playing the Nuggets. I was talking to Woody about this before we came out. Playing the Nuggets in Denver, part of the intel calls, and I called him, and he started talking about Jalen and just some of the things he can do that you see in practice every day that maybe you don't see on tape or you don't see if you go to a game. And the gravity of his voice is measurable. So it's great to have these coaches behind these players and part of their development story.
Yeah, I'll totally 100% agree with that. Knowing both of those coaches, just their ability to get players focused on, I think Max mentioned earlier, making the main thing, and just the competitive edge, the defensive focus, playing the right way offensively. You can see that when you watch these two guys on film, and I just think just being in that type of environment for both of them, coming in, it makes my job and my coaching staff that job much more easier in terms of things that I know that we can throw on them that'll be a seamless transition and I'll translate immediately to what we're trying to do here with the Lakers. And nobody wanted to mess with Woody, BT. I can call Sheed, Ben, everybody, Chauncey, Tayshaun. Nobody wanted to mess. He was the hit man for Larry Brown back then in Detroit. We had some tough guys on that team, and he would give us great instruction, but you didn't want to mess with Mike, man. You didn't want to mess with Coach Wood, man. But it's great to see him here, and it's beautiful how things come full circle. And now I'm about to coach a player that had the honor of playing for him, and I've played for him, so I already know what's instilled in Jalen, and I already know what's instilled in Max, and we're just going to keep the process going and allow them to build and become, high-level professionals.
Hey, guys, over here to your right, Kyle Kraska with Fox LA. Welcome. You both made it a point to mention Kobe Bryant and how on draft night you thought about him. Could you each share perhaps something as when you were growing up, your relationship you had with Kobe, meaning how he maybe inspired you?
Well, first off, my dad put a Laker fathead in my room of Kobe, so I always seen that, and I just always been around just Laker. He always took me on the weekends just to go in LA about his old stomping grounds and stuff. But just his mentality, just how much he works. I watch his motivation videos in the morning sometimes, just little things like that, just to keep it installed in my head about just how hard he worked. And
Yeah, like when I was younger, watching him, I'm watching him from a lens of just seeing how talented he is on the court. Obviously, he's one of the best players to play the game. So as I gotten older and I started to understand like what he stood for and what like the Mamba mentality was, that's kind of when I really just was like attracted to Kobe as far as his mindset and kind of what he stood for, and those were like habits that I tried to instill into myself.
Hey, Rob, over here. The last time we spoke to you, or last time I was here, when we spoke to you, you talked about the importance of continuity. Free agency starts here in a couple days. Is that still what you're valuing as you've assessed this team? And then I guess, how do these guys fit into the vision you have for the young core, as you've talked about? How do they complement and work with maybe some of those players?
Yeah, I think, we're at the doorstep of free agency, and we've been pretty clear since our last game with the success of making it to the Western Conference Finals. We want to try our hardest to keep this core of guys together and also improve around the edges and on the margins to not only get back to where we were last year, but hopefully take the next step and get into the NBA Finals. I think, the league is full of young players that can surprise even in the playoffs. The team that beat us, Denver, had a guy they drafted last year that was in their rotation. So I don't want to put a limit on what either of these guys here can do for Coach Ham and the team. I think they're going to start with the foundation of work, and if they earn minutes in our rotation, that's because they put in the work to do it. But I do think guys can be impactful in this league, even young players.
All right. I wanted to ask several questions. One to Jalen. You wanted to ask you, about your game. One thing that really sticks out is your passing. But I wanted to ask you, what are some areas of your game that you feel like people don't get a chance to see enough with? I mean, I know you can play a lot off the bounce too as well. And then for you, Maxwell, wanted to ask you, since the last time we've had 4 players drafted from Pepperdine since Doug Christie was drafted in '92, what does that mean for you to be drafted, and to be here in, with the Lakers too as well, another place, basically in hometown? I know you're from Vegas, but you're at home basically, so just want to ask y'all to that.
From my game standpoint, obviously a big guard. I check a lot of boxes, versatile. Can score the ball, floor general, get teammates involved, and then defensively, pretty good defender, can guard multiple positions. But I think one of the biggest questions going into the draft is probably my three-point shooting. So I think just consistently, showing that I can shoot the ball, and then obviously in the NBA with the spacing and everything, once I'm able to knock that down, everything else will just take care of itself.
Yeah, just being a Laker, like I had said earlier, is just surreal. A lot of people don't get drafted from Pepperdine, a mid-major school, so I really just want to put on for the mid-major schools that anyone can do it. It don't matter what level you're at, and as long as you just work, it can happen.
Rob, I just want to ask you about the way the landscape of the Western Conference looks now versus the last time we spoke after exit interviews. The team that you guys were eliminated by won the championship. Warriors had a major trade. Grizzlies had a major trade. There's been other movements throughout the conference. When you're sitting in that chair and responsible for decisions for your group, how does moves by opponents, rivals, guys, teams that you're going to be vying for the Western Conference spot, how does that affect your decision-making going into this summer?
I think we believe in the proof of concept of this group, and we saw defensively what we were able to do to finish the season out, and I think defense and rebounding wins championships. That's a core of Darvin's system and our identity. We want to lean into that. I think if there's ways that we can improve the roster, of course we're going to do that. I think probably less focus of, hey, what is Team X or Team Y doing, and more focus on how can we optimize us. We say it all the time, but we have one singular goal. It's to add the 18th banner, and that's our focus. So heading into the next couple days, we're going to do all we can to maximize that opportunity. And, yeah, teams are going to be aggressive. There's a lot of parity in the league right now, and everyone smells an opportunity to chase a championship, but we're going to try our best to stay in that pack or at the head of that pack.
Follow-up, Rob. You mentioned upgrading around the margins. Is there like a player archetype or skill set that you feel like you guys need to add in free agency with one of those marginal upgrades?
Yeah, I think we're gonna try our best to match players with players that coach wants to coach and that work in his system. And I think that's guys that play tough-minded basketball, that play defense, that play the game the right way, that hold themselves accountable, that fit within a team structure, don't put themselves first, put other guys first. And that's got to be our identity, and it will be our identity. I think that's when rosters really work, is when they reflect the personality of the head coach. And those are the archetype and the things that we're looking for on July 1st.